Here's the other thing I'm hearing. Apparently, the Niners really want to be aggressive this offseason. They were the least aggressive team in the league last offseason. They were financial constraints, and it killed them, and they came so close this year. And I bet a lot of people in the organization feel like, geez, or maybe Kyle feels like, geez, if we had only made a push, maybe we could have beaten the Seahawks in the playoffs. So now they have some cap space. It's a different year. And in addition to looking for a wide receiver they could trade for, apparently they're interested in trading up in the draft. They've traded up before. They haven't really had any success trading up, but they're currently positioned at the end of round one. You're probably not going to find a foundational blue chip player, and they really need to. They have a bunch of nice, good middle class starters who are young, but they need some stars, someone to replace Brandon Ayuk or to join Brock Purdy as like the young foundation of this team. So I don't know. You know the draft better than me. Are there some people that would intrigue you in like the top 20?
Okay, first of all, you got to ask yourself, how are the Niners going to get up there? And I would say the only chance they have to getting up in the first round is Mac Jones.
Okay.
Because Mac Jones, once again, represents a starting quarterback at $7 million, which he's got value, but then the lack of draft quality at quarterback gives him more value. And then his 1-year contract for $7 million gives him ultimate more value. He's like a perfect trade piece. So, like, where do you think he's going? I mean, who do you think is going to wind up with Mac Jones? If you think it's going to be Arizona, that's in the division. Now you're asking the Niners to trade a starting quarterback that they really like in the division. They have the 3rd pick in the draft. I could see the 49ers after watching this draft, this college football playoff. I could see the Niners badly wanting to pair Nick Bosa with Reuben Bain. Reuben Bain is just an amazing edge rusher for the Miami Hurricanes, and he's probably going in the top 5. And the Cardinals have the 3rd pick. Would the Niners trade their first-round pick, Mac Jones, and maybe another pick and get up into that first round and get a Reuben Bain? Because Bain and Bosa together could be, this guy's 6'3", 275, 9.5 sacks this year. He's awesome against the run. He's great against the pass. He's a relentless rusher. He's one of the most sure. Think about it. The Niners have struggled so badly in the draft. The only time they ever really hit with anybody impactful was Bosa because he was such a high pick. So maybe that's the route. Get up at the top of round 1 and take a no-doubter like Reuben Bain and pair him with Nick. So that's the guy I would think of. Maybe somebody would say Carnell Tate, the wide receiver from Ohio State. Maybe
what about the tight end from Oregon?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, Kenyon Fadiq is, but I think he's probably going to be, or Kenyon Sadiq. I think he's going to be in the 20s. So they wouldn't have to move up. I mean, the Niners right now are slated to pick 27.
Okay.
So, and he's slated to go 19. I would say there's a very good chance that he could fall to them, even where they're at right now. But, I mean, the difference maker in this playoffs, when you watch the college game, was this Reuben Bain. And it's just like, I know the 49ers, they got to get better on the offensive line. They got to get better on the defensive line, linebacker, wide receiver. They got a lot of needs, interior O-line especially. But Bain is a stud. I mean, he is like a Pro Bowl player, ready-made player.
You mentioned Arizona as a team that might be interested in Mac Jones. That the Niners could trade up with another team. I mean, a team that might want a cheaper starting quarterback. Minnesota. I mean, they let Sam Darnold go because they didn't want to pay him what Seattle paid him, which wasn't that much. They went with J.J. McCarthy because he's cheap. And they're definitely not going to waste another year of Justin Jefferson's prime. I'd be freaking shocked if they just ran it back with J.J. McCarthy. They might keep J.J. McCarthy, but they're going to bring in another quarterback. And I think Mac Jones would be about as good as they could do. I think that might be interested in him.
It's an interesting idea. The pick I was thinking of for Mac Jones, if he was going to be round 1, was going to be the Jets. Because the Jets have a pick at the very top of the draft. And a lot of talk about Arvell Reese or something like that. And then they also have the Colts pick. They have the 16th pick for the Sauce Gardner trade.
You think the Niners would do that to Mac? That's so messed up.
I mean,
isn't that messed up?
That is. I mean, I mean, where the other one is Cleveland going to hire a Kubiak? I could
I don't
see
know.
Mac
They might
Jones
hire
going.
Schwartz.
I could see like if the Raiders got Kubiak, I could see the Raiders having interest in Mac Jones. I mean, if you're Mac Jones, though, how bad do you want to play? You want to play for the Raiders? You want to play for bad teams that have the Jets? I mean, these are horrible franchises.
Let me ask you this though: would it be smart to trade up? I mean, Kyle Shanahan sometimes falls in love. They want to be uh, aggressive, but they need a lot of stuff, Larry. I mean, they have lots and lots of needs. Would it be smarter for them to trade down?
No, it would be definitely smarter to trade down, and it would
Yeah.
be easier to trade down too. Because to me, the guy that you're getting outside of, let's say the top 15, the first half of the first round has some really, really good players. Sonny Styles and the offensive tackle from Miami, Maui Goa. And there's just a lot of great players there. Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State. There's a lot of blue chip players in that top 15. But the second half of round one, going down to the middle of the third round, is all the same players. All the same players. So trading back for more picks, I think, is probably in their best interest. But here's the bigger question.
Because when they trade up, they often reach for the guy they're trading up for. They often trade up for guys they don't have to trade up for. Remember, when they traded up for Trey Lance, they originally wanted Mac Jones, who would have been there at 12. So I'm a little leery when Kyle Shanahan decides or John Lynch decides it's time to trade up.
Yeah, I mean, the trade ups have been horrible. Didn't they trade up for
Correndo was a trade up.
CJ Beathard was a trade up.
Yep.
Dante Pettis was a trade up. I mean, they trade. Jair Brown was a trade up.
Trey Lance.
Trey Lance. I mean, when they target somebody on a trade up, it's like that's the hex of hexes. I would say that this is the bigger question: is have the Niners? I mean, how should the Niners react to the fact that the Rams and the Seahawks are better than them, and that John Lynch has gotten outdone by Les Snead and John Schneider? And should the Niners maybe restructure and take Kyle out of the equation and move Lynch to the side in the equation and hire that great young scout to be their point man on the draft? They've missed 10 times in the third round since 2017. They've missed 18 times in the first 3 rounds since 2017. That's a lot of freaking misses. And I'm not saying that Lynch doesn't have value, and I'm not saying that Shanahan. I think they both have a lot of value overall. Shanahan as a play caller, Lynch as the face of the franchise. But as far as their draft efficiency, they're not hitting. And if they're ever going to catch up to Seattle and the Rams, they're going to have to change that dramatically. And to me, to go with the same process and the same people in that process, I don't know. That to me seems like living in denial and almost the definition of insanity. It's not going to get better until you change the decision makers and change the structure. And I think they're in love with their structure and their process. And I'm not, because it's
why though? Why though? I mean, look at your results from the last 4 years. I mean, what they need to do. I'm not saying fire Kyle or fire John. I'm not saying not do that, but like you can't keep things exactly the same. And someone at minimum you need a new person making the picks. And so if you want to keep John and Kyle, like Kyle can't make the picks anymore. And I kind of get the feeling he didn't make the picks last year. John shouldn't be making the picks. Don't promote Ethan Waugh. Don't promote Josh Williams. Don't promote RJ Gillum or Tariq Ahmad. Like all these guys haven't been good enough. You need to go out and get someone from Seattle or Green Bay or New England, someone that has been drafting really the Rams the last 4 years. You got to bring in someone from the outside, humble yourself, listen to them. If you'd done better, you wouldn't have to do this.
I really think that this is the moment in time that Jed should restructure the thing, but then do it under the guise of we're promoting you. Kyle, you're the best play caller there is, and this and that. We're taking this off your plate. John, you're our face of our franchise and a respected guy, but we're going to, the Ravens director of college scouting, and he is going to have final say on the draft and free agency and all the personnel. And you guys, I think that I know that would be viewed as an aggressive move by Jed, but I think it's the smart move. If you don't do that at least what I would do if I was Jed is I would do what Detroit did and what Kansas City did and what with John Dorsey, where you bring in a guy, a John Dorsey, a Scott McLuhan, or somebody who's got an opinion, and you invite them in, you pay them $250,000, and they're there in your draft room, adding to your brain trust and another set of eyes. Why? Because I think over the course of time, what happens is all the guys in the room know that they want to keep their job, and so they just align their opinions with the people who have the most power. And I think it's human nature to do that. And I think it would just be healthier for the 49ers if they brought somebody who didn't know the structure of things, who was just dialed in on the players, and who has no allegiances or loyalties or making up for last year's missed picks or any of that garbage that gets into the equation. I think that would be their smarter move. I don't think they'll do it, but that's what I think they should do.